Alright, it's about that time for me to get the reviews for one of my favorite metal bands of all time, starting with Metallica's first album, Kill 'Em All. What's going on, ladies and gents? It's Iberland coming back with another album review, and this time we're on to Metallica. Kill 'Em All. So, let's start with where we got with Metallica. So for those watching, Metallica's first album I actually ever heard was Reload. That was my introduction to the band. I had no idea. I knew they had albums before Reload, but I didn't know the abrasiveness, the metalness, the heaviness was going to be more extreme than Reload. I had no idea. So I listened to Reload, and then and I'll get to my thing with Reload later, but the point is my friend who let me listen to it said, if you think this is something, you got to listen to their other music. And at some point, I went and bought albums. I ended up getting the Black Album, and I was like, whoa, it grew on me because it was different. And then I went and bought the first four, all back to back. And I was like, well, let me just see what I vibe with first. And then I started with, I think, Ride the Lightning, then Master Puppets, then Justice, and then then Justice, then Master. It kept flip-flopping. And eventually I got Kill 'Em All was like before Load. I think in my order was Reload, Ride the Lightning, Master Puppets, and Reload, the Black Album, Ride the Lightning, Master Puppets, and Just for All, Kill 'Em All, then Load, then Saint Anger, then you see where I'm going. So in order, it was kind of how I listened to the albums. And anyway, with Kill 'Em All, Kill 'Em All felt the one that was the most or least polished, and I don't mean polished like, it just felt like the production was the most gritty. The vocals were the most gritty, and then of course it is their first album, so it's James at his youngest age. The guitar work was very abrasive, very very heavy for its time. And the thing is, when I listen to Kill 'Em All, one thing I've noticed is that songs like, what was it? The Four Horsemen. I really would say the Four Horsemen and Jump in the Fire. Those songs in particular to me kind of come off like certain elements of these songs are going to end up becoming what the band moves with moving next. Because the other songs are just thrash metal songs, but the elements of those two specific songs, to me in general, especially Four Horsemen, is what you end up getting for songs for Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets and Justice for All and stuff. Especially the next three albums, just those little elements, those little points in the song. In those songs in particular, you see more of that being opened up in musicianship moving forward. The album didn't take too long to grow on me because I was listening to all four of those albums around the same time with each other. It was like bouncing between, okay, I heard listen to Master, let me listen to this for today. Well, I just kept flipping between these four albums for a while because I had already listened to Black Album. I already had Reload for a while, but I didn't have Load yet. So I just kept bouncing between these four, taking in the lyrics, taking in the guitar work and the drums and the bass, just taking everything in little by little, just absorbing. Because it was this is somebody who never really listened to metal like that, and at the time you're just taking in all these things going on in these songs and just immersing yourself in it and absorbing, musically what's being put down on these albums. So for me, it was like it felt like an education of some sort with the band, because I had, I didn't know, outside of this one guy named David, I didn't have anybody that listened to metal like that. So for me, it was a new experience and broadening my musical taste in regards to, because up until Metallica, I only listened to punk and alternative, and it wasn't until, here's some metal songs here and there, but it wasn't until I came across Metallica that I became more open and more interested in things where songs sometimes would be 8-9 minutes long, and I was okay with that. I was used to anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes, and Metallica kind of changed my palette moving forward. As far as my rating for the album, I would give it a 9 out of 10, and the only reason why is because the songs are not as memorable as the rest of the albums moving forward. Like, everything on Ride the Lightning and moving forward, outside of Saint Anger, that's a whole nother topic. They blow this album out of the water. And it's not because this album is bad, it's just the later works are extremely just more tight, more cohesive, just better lyrics, just everything was better. But that doesn't mean Kill 'Em All is not a good place to start. I definitely would say, if you never heard Metallica, definitely do check out this album, because it's you're going to see where they started and you're going to see where they ended up in regards to what they have continued to put out. Now, what you can decide on what's your favorite album and why and all that stuff, that's totally different. But this is a good way to be introduced to the band and where they started. As far as my top 5 tracks, of course, the Four Horsemen, Jump in the Fire, Seek and Destroy, No Remorse, and Motorbreath. The other thing, the last note I would say is the track that Cliff had done for the album, Anesthesia. Just how he did on that too was just remarkable, because at the time I didn't realize that was a bass. I thought it was a guitar, and then as you keep playing your instrument, you start learning more about other instruments in the process. So that was very interesting too. But yeah, it's the best way to describe this album. It's a great piece of work. Now, my favorite, I wouldn't rank it as in the top, at the top of their stuff, but I definitely wouldn't say it's a bad album. It's just, the albums, a lot of the albums that came after it, I felt were better. So, anyway, let's cue the music.
Taking a toll on you.